And just like that, WrestleMania 35 is in the books. What a weekend of wrestling. Good wrestling we witnessed. We had NXT TakeOver. We had the Hall of Fame. We had that showdown. We had WrestleMania. We had Raw and Smackdown. I mean, it was pretty much disappointing. This is probably the weakest post WrestleMania Raw and Smackdowns I've ever witnessed. But let's get into it. This is Not Your Average Wrestling Podcast, hosted by your boy, the Wildcat, Jay Troy. And like I said, it was nothing but great vibes this weekend, great action. First things first, there's a lot of things that I have to cover in a short span of time, so let's just jump right into it. Before I get into anything that happened as far as WWE, as far as what they broadcasting to us over the WWE network, I want to say one of the best things that happened to me this past weekend was me meeting my family. Them thuggles, them thuggles, so Jimmy Thug, ooh, J Thug, ooh, Dot says day one ish. That is me, baby. I met my family, Jimmy Thug, ooh, J Thug, ooh. It was a family reunion out there. They know what it was. I met them in the Cricket Wireless store, and once Jimmy Thug, ooh, J Thug, ooh saw me, they knew exactly what time it was. They knew what was going down once they saw their man, J Troy Oos, because that's what my man, Jimmy Thug Oos called the brother. He called me, J Troy Oos. It was nothing but great vibes. I love my family, man. I love them. Uso, Jimmy Thug, ooh, J Thug, Oos. Family. We will see each other again, and we will. I'm telling you, when I get to the WWE, nothing but good vibes, good energy. We're just gonna have a whole bunch of fun out there. So that happened to me on Saturday, and also after I met my family, Jimmy Thug, J Thug, Oos, I got interviewed by the WWE, which was amazing. That's a dream right there. That is step one in the right direction for me, because like I said before, the end goal with me is to get to the WWE. End goal. All my hard work is going to pay off once I land that job with WWE, and I will not quit. I will not stop. I will continue fighting. I'm almost graduating. I'm almost about to graduate from college. I am almost there, and I can taste it. Just getting interviewed by WWE just gave me the fuel, the fire that I need to continue to push harder to get there. It was amazing. And I was in that package for the Cricket Wireless, because that's why I met Jimmy Thug, J Thug, Oos, the Cricket Wireless. So like I said before, it was nothing but good energy, good vibes. My mom was out there with me. Shout out to my mom for being out there with me and just standing on that line and just having so much fun with me. I always enjoy doing things like that with my mom, just hanging out and everything. But it was nothing but good energy and good vibes, like I said before. So as far as, what was it? Friday, we had NXT TakeOver New York. Now, I'm not going to get too much into the details because I have to cover WrestleMania, Raw, and SmackDown, but I would like to say this was a great night for pro wrestling fans. We have nothing but great wrestling. Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole stole the show in the main event. You had Matt Riddle and Velveteen Dream. Velveteen Dream, that boy is a freaking star, man. He's a star. When I seen him do that Statue of Liberty entrance, I was like, only the Velveteen Dream would do something like that, man. That boy is something special. He is something special. I just pray to the wrestling gods that when he gets to the main roster, that the WWE main roster I pray that they use him correctly. Use that man correctly. He's a bona fide superstar. His match with Matt Riddle. Velveteen Dream wins with the shocker because if you remember last week, I predicted the Velveteen Dream losing that title and Matt Riddle gaining the championship and Velveteen Dream moving on to the main roster. But I was wrong. Velveteen Dream is going to stay in NXT a little bit longer. I mean, trust me, I'm not hating that unless he gets called up next week for the Superstar Shakeup. Yes, there is a Superstar Shakeup next week, and hopefully things finally get shooken up in the WWE. But we also had a tag team match between the Wall Raiders, Aleister Black, and Ricochet, who has countless tag team title opportunities. This tag team thing, they're not cut out for the whole tag team thing, Aleister Black and Ricochet. And storyline, they just can't seem to get it done when titles is on the line. They win the non-title matches, but when it's time to win the big one, they cannot do it as a tag team. But it was a great match. War Raiders won. Hanson and Rowe, but especially Hanson, bro. Yo, that boy is something special. Big behemoth looking dude. Behemoth. Man, oh man. Man, oh man. What else happened? I think the women's match was in my opinion, the weakest match of the night. I felt like it was a solid match with Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, Bianca Belair, and Shayna Baszler. I felt like it was a solid match, but it was the weakest match of the 5. Shayna Baszler ended up retaining the championship. I had Io Shirai winning, and those 3 other women moving up to the main roster. But you never know what can happen. You know, they might call Bianca Belair up, and they might call all 4 of them up during the shakeup. We don't know. But hopefully the shakeup, they really shake things up. As far as Walter, UK championship match. So we had Walter and Pete Dunne, who held the championship for like 685 days, I do believe. And this was a great match. Now, a lot of people complained that this match was too slow. It was too slow. It dragged. Yeah, but they could have shaved maybe like 5 minutes off of that match. But I enjoyed that match. I felt like both of them, they got their spots in. Pete Dunne was not backing down from Walter. Walter trying to get that championship from Pete Dunne. I felt like they told a great story in there. They definitely did their thing. They definitely delivered. Walter ends up beating Pete Dunne for the UK championship and ending the 285-day reign of Pete Dunne. And what's next for the Bruiserweight? Does he finally get called up to the main roster? I do think so, because he held the championship for 685 days. What more can this man prove in the UK division in NXT? What more can he do? I don't think there's any more he can do. He held the championship. It's time for the Bruiserweight to move up to Raw or SmackDown. Preferably, I would prefer the Bruiserweight on SmackDown. I feel like he'll fit more over there with the land of opportunities, the wrestlers. Imagine Pete Dunne versus Daniel Bryan. I would love that. I would love to see that match. Brutal. But we shall see. But that was NXT TakeOver. I mean, I had to rapid fire through this because I got a lot to cover today. But like I said in the beginning, NXT TakeOver was a solid wrestling show from start to finish. I enjoyed every bit of it, man. Every bit of it. So we move on to the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame was filled with nothing but great speeches. You had Tori Wilson. You had the honky tonk man. Hey, the honky tonk man. I always love singing that song. You had the honky tonk man. You had DX, who, in my opinion, had the most entertaining speech of the night. They definitely killed it, man. It was just so fun. You know, I was surprised to see Billy Gunn back there because, you know, he was fired by WWE a little while ago. And, you know, he works for AEW. And they was actually poking fun of AEW a lot, and they was saying jokes back and forth. You can't say Vince's name. You can't do this and that and this. All DX, you know, Road Dogg, X-Pac, and all of them. They was all joking around, and then they it was a few AEW shots in there, and Billy Gunn was saying like, well, I can say it because I don't work here anymore. And then the whole crowd popped, and then Triple H was like, Vince will buy that Pitts Ant company and fire you again. So that was, take a shot at AEW. And my favorite one out of all the AEW shots was one that Shawn Michaels did. He looked at Billy Gunn and was like, well, I'm glad to see that you're here and you're all in. That right there that one had me like, oh. But it was great. Like my boy Titus O'Neil, he was just telling me that DX, they like one of the most immature adults ever. But they just have fun, man. They do have their immature moments, but it's all in good fun. You can tell that they just love poking fun at each other. I would have loved to see what backstage looked like back in the day when all of them was back there and they was as wrestlers. I would have killed to be back there to see the stuff that they was getting into. But then we had Bret Hart. Bret Hart and Jim D'Anville Neidhart. They was getting inducted as a tag team for the Hart Foundation. So it was Bret Hart and Natalya up there giving a speech. And what came as a shocker of the night, I don't know if you want to even call this person a wrestling fan, because you're not a wrestling fan. If you want to attack Bret Hart, a legend, This man that has contributed so much in this business. You want to attack a man who's a stroke and cancer survivor. A man that has given this business everything, every inch of his body. You want to attack Bret Hart because you feel like it? I don't even want to call this person a wrestling fan because in the headlines and everything, wrestling fan attacks Bret Hart. No, you're not a wrestling fan. You don't have that title. Who gave you the right? What was going through your head, you freaking sicko, for attacking Bret Hart? This man isn't a wrestling fan. How do you call this man a wrestling fan? He's not. This man was up here giving a speech with Natalya, hearing the good stories, him poking fun, him doing jokes, and next thing you know, you want to grab Bret Hart and throw him on the ground. Natalya went down with her uncle. She grabbed on to Bret, and she went down with her uncle. Travis Bryan and Shane McMahon are the MVP because they was the first ones that get up in there, and they was Travis Bryan, Ronda Rousey's husband, who's an MMA fighter, was wailing on him. Shane McMahon was right in there, and Shane wasn't hitting those. He wasn't throwing the weak punches, those weak Shane McMahon punches like he usually do. These was real bows, and it was getting in there. Then a whole bunch of wrestlers, Heath Slater got in there, some of the New Day got in there, so they was pulling them away. The highlight of this was Dash Wilder for No Revival. He took the no flips, just fist, literally, because when they was walking away, he pulled up on the side, hit the dude with a mean uppercut, knocked him, dropped him. Dash Wilder, you earned my respect from that, even though I always respected you and Scott Dawson, because y'all put on some great matches, but you have definitely earned my respect for taking care of that douchebag who wants to attack Bret Hart, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But enough of that. We ain't gonna give that person any more limelight. Let's move on to WrestleMania. Well, actually, kudos to the other people that I can't really get to. The other speeches. Harlem Heat gave a great speech. X-Pac, I loved his speech in the DX thing. But that's about it. Like, I have to rapid fire through the Hall of Fame as well. But like I said, the Hall of Fame this year was solid. It did not drag like the other years. Everybody's speech was just right. They was timed perfectly. And I felt like a lot of people's speech was entertaining in their own way. So let's move on to the showcase of the Immortals, the granddaddy, WrestleMania. So WrestleMania, we start off with Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight Championship. Now, I don't know if I told you, but I'm not a big fan of Tony Nese, he's a great wrestler. I feel like he's very athletic. He definitely flies around. He has the body and everything, but he just does nothing for me. He has no charisma, in my opinion. That's me. He could always change my mind later, but just having wrestling skills and 8-pack abs, that don't mean nothing to me. That don't mean nothing. You know? But him and Buddy Murphy, they have a solid match. So Buddy Murphy was walking into WrestleMania as the Cruiserweight Champion, and I think they went about like 10 minutes. Tony Nese beats Buddy Murphy with the running knees, and that's about it. Solid match. The Women's Battle Royal. We have a whole bunch of women in there. Yeah, Kairi Sane in there. That was very exciting because everybody knows how much I love me some Kairi Sane. I love Kairi Sane. I don't think that the main roster is really going to push her as much, but that can change. But I don't know. But we shall see. I hope the main roster pushes up because Kairi Sane is one of the best women's wrestlers out today. And that's me. I feel like that's me with me being non-biased. I feel like she's one of the best. That's why I like Kairi Sane, actually. Not only do I think she's cute, but I feel like she's a pretty great wrestler. That elbow drop is great. But I thought she was going to win this. But the ending, it sort of shocked everybody because I totally forgot Carmella was in the match because she ended up rolling out of the match. And Sarah Logan had eliminated Asuka, I do believe. So a lot of people was like, wait a minute, Sarah Logan won? Sarah Logan? Nah. Out comes Carmella. Carmella throws Sarah Logan out. So Carmella is your winner of the Women's Battle Royal. Nothing but a schmaz match to get all the women on the card. I thought Naomi was eliminated a little too early, but because she was the winner of last year's, it would have been cool to have Carmella and Naomi face off at the end and, have Carmella get the upper hand. That would have been cool. But that's here nor there. So Carmella wins the second women's battle royal at WrestleMania. The Revival versus the Major Brothers, Zack Ryder and the Kurt Hawkins. So the Kurt Hawkins had a streak. I think it was like 269 days of 269 matches that he's lost in a row. So he was coming in here as a losing streak. So the story was, will the Kurt Hawkins lose the match? Will he continue the streak, or will him and Zack Ryder win the big one at WrestleMania and become tag team champions in New York? Actually, in New Jersey, but WWE likes to throw around New York and New Jersey. But anyway, so basically, it was a solid match. I was into this, the Revival, and I feel like these two teams work together. I feel like you give them a little bit more time, and they can deliver. Zack Ryder was always a great wrestler to me. The Kurt Hawkins, he was always okay to me. The Revival, you know what they can do. They could have gave him a little bit more time, but I see that this was a pre-show match. And I felt like this was solid. This was a solid match. And the Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder end up becoming the tag team champions. And Zack Ryder is one of those wrestlers that you don't hear from, and out of nowhere, he always wins at WrestleMania. So that's the second time in like the last, 2 or 3 years. Zack Ryder was in obscurity. The next thing you know, he wins a championship out of nowhere at WrestleMania. So, Zack Ryder, congratulations to you, because you definitely deserve it. You're still here and you're still fighting through it. Zack Ryder, you're my guy. I'm glad to see that you and Kurt Hawkins are the champions. Now, let's see where this title reign goes. I don't think it's going to last that long, but let's just be happy that somebody like a Zack Ryder is getting an opportunity for maybe like a couple months. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. What can I say about this? Another schmozz match. You have the story of this whole match was Braun Strowman and Colin Jost and Michael Che from Saturday Night Live. And there was a moment in this match where it looked like they was about to eliminate Braun Strowman. And I thought for a second that they was going to actually have these two goofs beat Braun Strowman and throw him out. It really looked like they was going to throw him out for a second. I was just like, no, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. And then no, Braun Strowman, he ended up getting the upper hand and throwing out both of them. So he's the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. Braun Strowman, I think I predicted Bray Wyatt last week. But I guess this is good for Braun for him to continue his WrestleMania momentum. I don't know. I just felt like they needed something more for Braun Strowman at WrestleMania. But hey, I mean, I guess beggars can't be choosers. I'm just glad that he did win. If it wasn't Bray Wyatt, I wanted Braun Strowman to win. So we move on to the actual show, which is the granddaddy of WrestleMania. This is the actual show. This is the main show. Those are the pre-show matches. So let's get into what went down at WrestleMania. Alexa Bliss comes out. And she, she's the host of WrestleMania, and I would like to say that Alexa Bliss, she was looking good. I gotta say it like Booker T. She was looking good. So she was just saying, she's out here, she's the host, and she was saying, at the snap of my fingers, I can make a WrestleMania moment just like that. She snaps her fingers, and then Hulk Hogan comes out. Dun, 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 dun. Listen, I know a lot of people still not a fan of Hulk Hogan, but I forgave the man. I'm going to say it right now. I forgave the man. There's no hurt feelings. Yes, the man did say some messed up stuff as far as African Americans and black people. Yeah, but he messed up. He apologized. Let's just give the man his dues. Hulk Hogan is one of the gods of wrestling. That's what I look at him as. He's one of the gods of wrestling. And it's just always good to see Hulk Hogan back in the WWE atmosphere. And that real American, I always get excited for that. Hulk Hogan, listen, what's done is done. Yeah, you messed up. You paid for it. We was mad at you. You said you apologized. That's it. But anyway, Hulk Hogan's come out. He's posing. Then out of nowhere, Paul Heyman comes out. And he was just saying, if my client's not the last match, the match better happen now for the Universal Championship because we're about to get off. We're about to go on a plane and go to Vegas. So I guess that's when they're supposed to do their UFC negotiations. Good. So get out of here, Paul. Get out of here, Brock. So we can not use Brock Lesnar anymore as far as this because it's ridiculous. So anyway, Brock Lesnar comes down. The Universal title match is first, and they have Seth Rollins comes down second. As soon as Seth Rollins gets to the ring, Brock Lesnar attacks him, beats the crap out of him for like a good while, suplexes him all over the place, I think he F5s him out the ring, beats him down. Match starts. He's still throwing Seth Rollins around. The referee I do believe, gets knocked over or something like that. Seth Rollins low blows Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar goes, he's crawling, he's fighting, he's gasping for air. 3 curb stomps, and new Universal Champion, thank God, it's Seth freaking Rollins, the Beast Slayer. It's not just a tagline now, it is fact. He has slayed kings, and he has slayed the beast. The new Beast Slayer is your Universal Champion, like I said before. People are going to start caring about this Universal Championship now that it's on Seth Rollins. I can't wait to see where this title reign goes, but everything's going to get more interesting when this shakeup happens. So, next match on the card, AJ Styles and Randy Orton. This was a good match. I felt like these two definitely delivered. It didn't go too long. I felt like it was right. It's timed perfectly. Both of them got their spots in. AJ Styles kicks out of an RKO, which is huge. Nobody kicks out of the RKO. That's a protected move. Not too many. I think the last person that probably kicked out of the RKO was probably Roman Reigns. I think. But not too many people kick out of that. So, like, seeing AJ Styles kick out of that RKO was huge. And that was pretty much out of nowhere. There was reports saying that there was a yellow light flashing at the crowd during this match, so they could not see this match. That's a shame. I'd have been tight if I was in that section that had to deal with this, because I paid all that money to go to WrestleMania and I came to see AJ Styles and Randy Orton go at it. I'd have been tight. But AJ Styles ends up winning the match with the phenomenal forearm. Like I said before, this was a solid match, and I felt like this match delivered. My family, them thuggos, so man, I'm thuggos, Jimmy Thug, J Thug, down since day one, it's that is me. So we got the family, them Thug, Uso, Jimmy Thug, J Thug, They went against the Bar, Rusev and Nakamura, and Ricochet and Aleister Black, which is their third tag team title opportunity within the last week. This was a solid match. Cesaro hits a swing on Ricochet, swinging him all around the ring, And it was cool because I think Cesaro was swinging him for like damn near a minute straight. Nothing but swinging. And yo, how was Cesaro standing out of that, man? Like after that, like for real, like how do you stand after that? Like Cesaro never looks dizzy after swinging somebody like all like for that long, but he's swinging them all around. And also Ricochet, he hits a good 630 for a near fall. I thought at one point that they was gonna actually take it, but he hits a 630, and I think was it a kick out or I think somebody must have broke it up. It's the spot where everybody was getting their stuff in. Sheamus looks strong for a second. He hits a bro kick, I think, on Ricochet. Ricochet sells that bro kick like his death. Sells it great. The family comes in. Them Thuggles, Jimmy Thug, J Thug, I think they super kick Sheamus, and then they hit the double splash. And my family, them Thug Usos, retain those championships, the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships, which is a good match. We could just continue to roll on the good wrestling, the good moments and everything, man. I felt like what needed to happen happened in that match. The Usos needed to retain. If they went against the Hardys at WrestleMania, then that's when they should have dropped the titles. But they wasn't. But in this type of schmaz match, they should have retained. And the right thing happened. Shane McMahon versus The Miz. This probably will go down as one of the matches of the night. in my opinion, The Miz, this probably was one of the Miz's best matches in his entire WWE career. There was things that Miz was doing that I thought I would never see Miz do. The way, the physicality that was going on in this match, you know, at one point, The Miz's dad got involved because Shane was beating up Miz at one point. He had him on the commentator's table. And, you know, when Shane does that elbow drop off of the turnbuckle to the outside, he was about to do that on The Miz. And Miz's dad was like, nah, don't do it. He goes into the ring and squares up with Shane McMahon, which is one of the funniest things. And I know that's going to be turned into like one of the funniest memes in WWE this year. But Shane McMahon was helping him square up, and Shane McMahon just ends up dogging him, just beating him down in the ring. Miz gets up and just starts beating Shane all over the what's this, the stadium? Just beats him up all over. Like, Shane was just bouncing all over the place. Like, they really used this false count anywhere stipulation. They really used it. And I love what they did in this match. Like, The Miz, like I said, he looked great, man. And Shane McMahon was just bouncing. Shane McMahon, credit to him, he's like, I think Shane's like 50-something years old, and he's still bouncing around, taking crazy bumps, still flying around like a cruiserweight. You got to give Shane McMahon some kudos too, man, because for somebody his age, somebody like Shane McMahon don't need to be doing stuff like this. He doesn't have to be taking crazy dives. He doesn't have to do all this stuff. But he's doing it for the fans, and that's why I will always respect a man like Shane McMahon, because he's giving his everything to the business when he don't have to. He's set for life. He doesn't have to be still doing this stuff. He didn't have to do it then. But The Miz, they end up climbing to this platform, to like the top of this platform. The Miz hits a superplex, or I'm gonna call this a megaplex, 15 feet. Down to like this platform. Of course, there was some cushion underneath because you don't want them to actually fall on the concrete, because that's when we have serious injuries. So the Miz megaplexes Shane off of this platform, fall onto the platform. Of course, they can't get up. But the crazy thing is, Shane's arm, his shoulders was on top of the Miz. His arm, he was covering the Miz basically. And 1, 2, 3. Shane McMahon beats The Miz like I predicted. This is what needed to happen. And Shane McMahon, the best in the world, continues his heel reign. His heel turn so far has been a success, in my opinion. I loved it. I love it so far. The best in the world, Shane McMahon. Like, that is just so awesome. Him and Greg Hamilton, yeah, they definitely got something special right there. I love this, and I love this match. This is go down as probably one of the matches of the night, in my opinion. We move on to Sasha Banks and Bayley versus the Iconics versus Nia and Tamina versus Natty and Beth for the tag team titles. This was an okay match. It's okay. I felt like the women in this match definitely did their thing. I think the spot of the night came towards the end when Beth Phoenix hits the glam slam on Bayley from the top turnbuckle all the way down. So she hits her big old glam slam. They throw Beth Phoenix out the ring. The Iconics throw Beth Phoenix out the ring. They get the cover. 1, 2, 3. The Iconics become your second women's tag team champions in history. And this came as a shocker because I had Sasha and Bayley retaining. But I guess this is good for the Iconics because out of all the teams, I mean, I guess you would call like Nia and Tamina a team, but like not really. I feel like the Iconics is like the only true tag team in that match. So I guess this looked good for them, and this gave them something more to do. Now, I haven't been the biggest fan of the Iconics lately, but I was a fan of them in NXT. And I feel like these titles, if you give them a decent title run and put them in decent storylines, I feel like this will be nothing but positivity for the Iconics going forward in the future. And let's just see what they do. I'm kind of intrigued. I'm not arguing this. This was a shocker for me because, like I said, I had Bayley and Sasha retaining. But let's just see what this goes to the Iconics. I'm happy for them. You could tell that they was happy because when the 1, 2, 3 happened, they just hugged each other and they was crying. I love those moments like that. I'm done with Sasha crying every time she wins a belt. Oh, excuse my language. Every time she wins a belt, she starts crying. Yeah. And I'm just done with seeing Sasha crying. I'm just done with that. So the Iconics crying, it was a little bit more real to me. But yeah. We move on to what's next? What was next? We got my main event. Kofi Kingston versus the old Daniel Bryan, because it's not new anymore. It's played out. He's not new. It's not new. So we have this was, like I said, this told the best story of the entire WrestleMania season. This had the best build-up because this was something that happened organically. And we wanted Kofi Kingston to win this match. He needed to win because it would have been a big uproar. This would have been a big uproar if Kofi Kingston did not walk out of WrestleMania as WWE champion. They put on a solid match. It started off a little slow, but then they started to pick up a little bit towards the end where Eric Rowan got involved. And when Eric Rowan got involved, he was just taking out the New Day, the members, Xavier Woods and Big E, who was out there. And Kofi Kingston hit a Trouble in Paradise on Eric Rowan. And I think he took him out. Yeah, he took him out with the Trouble in Paradise. He went in the ring, and him and Daniel Bryan was going at it. I feel like these two have solid chemistry with each other in that ring. And I love the count. It was a counter that that Kofi Kingston did on Daniel Bryan. You know when Daniel Bryan does those it kicks? He was kicking Kofi Kingston, and he went to go do that last kick. Kofi Kingston swung, ducked, grabbed him, picked him up. It was crazy. It was a crazy counter, but the ending came with, I think Kofi Kingston stomped out Daniel Bryan's head. I think that was the ending. But he did something crazy to Daniel Bryan. Hits the Trouble in Paradise. 1, 2, 3. Your new and first ever African-American WWE champion, Kofi Kingston. The New Day members, they get in the ring. You just hug Kofi Kingston's family. They get in there. This is one of those moments that will live in WrestleMania history forever because not only do we have the first ever African-American WWE champion, is that somebody like Kofi Kingston, we did not expect for this to happen. If y'all thought when it was the Royal Rumble time, y'all really thought that Kofi Kingston was going to be the WWE champion? Nuh-uh. He was not. I didn't think that. But somebody like Kofi Kingston, somebody who's been doing this for 11 years, deserves this. A lot of people throw it around the "you deserve it" chance to everybody, but this is somebody who truly deserves that championship. Not the fact that he's black, but the simple fact that this man has been doing everything for this business for 11 plus years, because he was doing stuff before WWE, before he got to WWE. For 11 plus years, he was doing stuff in this business, and it finally paid off. He became the WWE champion at WrestleMania. The question is, where does the old Daniel Bryan go from here? We shall see. Everything will be interesting come next week. Congratulations once again to the new WWE champion, Kofi Kingston. Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio, U.S. title match. Well, the entrances was longer than the actual match. Because of Rey Mysterio's injury that he had on Monday Night Raw, they had to speed up this match. But it wasn't too much of a negative because we have to start establishing Samoa Joe as a legitimate threat again. So what they did was they had Samoa Joe squash Rey Mysterio. He hit the 619 and all that stuff, but it didn't work. It wasn't as effective. And Samoa Joe ends up putting some Rey Mysterio in the coquina clutch after hitting the 619 actually on Samoa Joe. But Samoa Joe ends up getting Rey in the coquina clutch, and Rey goes to sleep just that fast. The entrances, like I said, was longer than the match. This makes Samoa Joe looks like a beast again, and we need to start building Samoa Joe again. Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. Now, I had Drew McIntyre winning this match, but Roman Reigns ends up becoming a winner. I felt like Drew needed this because this was Drew's first big match in years. And he needed this. He needed to establish himself as a star. I feel like Roman Reigns would have been fine if he lost. It would have been okay. And because Roman could have got his win, he could have got his win back. He could have got his win back down the road. But Drew needed this win more than Roman did. It was a solid match between the two. Roman Reigns beats Drew with the spear. And it was an okay match. I felt like Drew McIntyre should have won because like I said before, because he needed it. But I don't know. Against the big dog. Don't be surprised if the big dog, you heard it now, you heard it here. Don't be surprised if the big dog is right back in the main event next year. So let's just soak it in while we didn't have it this year. Elias. So Elias has cloned himself that he promises big old musical performance that nobody's never going to forget. This biggest performance of WrestleMania history. He cloned himself. Yeah, somebody on the drums. I think, was there somebody on the piano? And there was Elias in the ring. The actual Elias in the ring. So he's playing. It was actually good. He was playing to the, what was it? That Elias thing. Elias. That thing. So they was doing that. Walk with Elias. Something like that. They was doing that. And next thing you know, we get a special bulletin. When this thing came up on the screen, I was like, no. Because that's how CM Punk's cult of personality Titantron used to start. It used to be something like that. If they did a special bulletin and then you heard, look at my eyes, what do you see? That stadium would have blown up. But when I saw that, I was like, no. Is this CM Punk? Then they start having the old like announcer guy talking, and it sounded like CM Punk's intro. And then we had, they were showing Babe Ruth. The next thing you know, you hear, word life. This is basic thugonomics. Yo, I went crazy. John Cena, I felt like in that moment won all his fans back. He won all his fans back because this is the John Cena that we've been wanting to see. The edgier John Cena, not the never give up thing. Trust me, that's helped me get through a lot of things in my life. But we want to see thugonomics John Cena for the longest. So he comes in there, he spits bars on Elias, and I can't say the type of stuff that he was saying, but definitely entertaining segment. He knocks out Elias, hits him with a FU because on WrestleMania it wasn't an attitude adjustment. No, we going back. If you're gonna take John Cena back to the Ruthless Aggression era days with that gimmick, we gotta turn this into an FU for the night. So he gives him the FU, and Thugonomics John Cena walks out. And then that's it. We have Triple H versus Batista or Triptista, because Triptista trips getting into the ring, and it's just like that. Batista is just a walking meme, yo. He just knows how to become a meme. But anyway, he trips, doing his entrance. He did it over and came back into the ring the right way. But this is all in good fun. Batista is just a walking meme. But I feel like this was a brutal match. For these two guys to be older people wrestling, they went all out. There was broken tables. There was chains. Triple H pulled Batista's nose ring out with pliers. Like, it was brutal. He speared Batista through a table. Like, Triple H powerbombs Batista on the steps. And, like, Batista bounces off. Pedigrees. But Ric Flair, he comes in at the end. He hands Triple H the sledgehammer. He hits Triple H with good old sledge. What did I say? He gives Triple H the sledgehammer. He hits Batista with the sledgehammer. Batista gets pinned 1, 2, 3, following a pedigree. And Triple H finally gets his win after all these years on Batista. But I think this was Batista's way of saying thank you to Triple H for everything he's did for him. Because I don't think Triple H would have been a bigger star. I don't think Batista would have been a bigger star if he wasn't in Evolution with Triple H. So I think this was his way of saying thank you to Triple H. This is what I can give you back. The win after all these years, after everything you've done for me, putting me over the years. He has, this was his way of saying thank you. And right after the match, Batista retired. He took to social media on Instagram and just thanked the fans for everything. And I would just like to say thank you, big man, for everything you have did for us, for entertaining me. There will be no other Batista. The moments, the blue Tista, the trip Tista, the spit Tista, like he have become every Tista that I've thought about. But thank you for all the memories, big man. Like I would just like to say that from me to you. You have definitely gave me a whole bunch of great memories that I will look back over the years, and your classic matches. Thank you once again, Batista. So, up next, we have Baron Corbin versus Kurt Angle. Let's just cut right to the chase. The right man won. Baron Corbin beats Kurt Angle with the end of days. And this needed to happen because Baron Corbin is going to stick around. Kurt Angle's career is made, it's set. He could have lost every single match that he was thrown at when he came back, and Kurt Angle would have still had a Hall of Fame career. Like, it don't matter. Like, he didn't need to win this match. Baron Corbin can use this. What is the true benefits of if Kurt Angle really won that match? To say that he won his last match? No, it makes more sense because Baron Corbin is that heel that everybody can't stand, and you know he can run with this. He can run with this. So the right man won. He beats him with the end of days after Kurt Angle tried to do that moonsault that he's never connected in WWE. And yeah, like I said, Kurt Angle, he did he give a speech? Did he I think he did. I think he did. I think he spoke on the mic. I do believe so. But he walks up the ramp, he waves his goodbye, and Kurt Angle, he's gone. But they got Baron Corbin out of the ring because I guess they wanted to give Kurt Angle that time. But Kurt Angle, thank you for everything you have done over the years as well. So we had 2 retirements back to back. Thank you, Kurt Angle, for everything you've done. All the memories, the Milkomania, which is still, in my opinion, I prefer the Milkomania more than the beer truck. I know that's probably an unpopular opinion, but I always prefer going back to the Milkomania rather than the beer truck thing. Milkomania is running wild. Yeah, that moment, the moments that he had with Stone Cold, the little guitar, the banjo, the tiny hat, all that stuff. The matches that Kurt Angle's done with Shawn Michaels, John Cena, Triple H, The Rock, Undertaker, all that stuff. All the great moments. His TNA moments. His TNA theme song. Talk about the best of all time. You better mention him. That is true. That's not in it. That's not in the song just to say. He is one of the greatest of all times. Thank you, Kurt Angle. The Intercontinental title match, Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley. The Demon ends up beating Bobby Lashley. It's probably like one of the weaker matches of the night. I mean, it wasn't too impressive to me. The Demon won. The right man won. Cool entrance. I was been waiting to see that Demon entrance at WrestleMania, but cool entrance. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. I mean, I wasn't into this match as much. I mean, the only good thing was seeing the Demon in there. But let's go on to the main event. Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair. And I feel like the main event was solid. Definitely, it was good. It was good. For the first women's main event, I mean, I feel like they delivered. The Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte match that they had at 32 was better than this one, in my opinion. But I feel like Ronda Rousey, she definitely delivered. She ended up breaking her hand in this match. I think when she fell out the ring, she had an awkward fall during the match. I think that's what she probably broke her hand. But Ronda Rousey was definitely doing her thing. She was flying around there. Charlotte was doing her thing. You know, Charlotte's definitely going to fly around there and deliver. Becky Lynch is doing her thing. Becky Lynch ends up rolling up Ronda Rousey, But this was very controversial because the referee counted to 3, and this was supposed to be the finish. Now, there was rumors going around that saying that this wasn't supposed to be the finish, but this was the finish of the match. So, yeah, the only thing that messed up was that the referee started to count a little too early because he started to count when he put the backslide on Ronda and her shoulders wasn't all the way down. And it was a bit of a confusion. It was awkward towards the end. But Becky Lynch ends up pinning Ronda Rousey, which was the first time Ronda Rousey has ever got pinned in the WWE. And we have your new Raw and SmackDown champion, Becky Lynch, or as I say, Becky Two Belts now. She's Becky Two Belts. So, there's WrestleMania. WrestleMania definitely delivered, in my opinion, this year. Solid match from top to bottom. Great moments. WWE gave pretty much everything that everybody wanted. I'm satisfied, even though I didn't get my Usos and Hardy match. But, hey, listen. They gave me everything else that I wanted. Becky Lynch became champion. Seth Rollins became champion. And Kofi Kingston became the first ever African-American WWE champion. So, hey, I'm with that. And I got to see Thuganomics John Cena. So, I'm all for it with just that. And the Usos retain. So, from top to bottom, this was a solid WrestleMania. This will go down as one of the best WrestleManias of all time, in my opinion. If they do like a top 10 of WrestleManias, I can see them putting this one up there because this definitely was solid. A lot of great moments, a lot of great title matches, and history was made. We had sad moments, we had great moments, we had everything that happened. We had surprises. WWE definitely gave us a lot. So I'm gonna have to rapid fire through Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Like I said in the beginning, they definitely disappointed me with the Raw and SmackDowns of after WrestleMania because, you know, that's when they have that crazy crowd that always comes out. And, you know, as far as Raw, I'm just gonna get into the highlights. What happened? We had a winner-takes-all match between Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston. I'm gonna be all over the place. So this was the main event, right? So early in the night, you had Kofi Kingston, Seth Rollins come down there. Kofi Kingston challenged Seth Rollins to a winner-takes-all, Universal Championship on the line, WWE Championship on the line. Seth Rollins accepts. That match was later in the night. So Baron Corbin came out, also talked trash about Kurt Angle, insults the New Yorkers. Kurt Angle comes out, wishes Baron Corbin good luck. Well, he wishes him luck. Bad luck. Angle slams him, right? So you thought that it was done there. But next thing you know, we hear the Lars Sullivan screech. Lars Sullivan finally, after having an anxiety attack a little while ago, that's why he didn't debut, he finally comes out, makes his appearance, and he destroys Kurt Angle. He destroys Kurt Angle, and because of what happened later in the night, I would have saved Lars Sullivan for later in the night for the main event, because what they had interrupt the main event did not make sense, in my opinion. So we had Becky Two Belts. She came out there. She talked about the whole Ronda match. Lacey Evans. Finally, I'm going to talk about Lacey Evans, the Southern lady, because she finally came out there and she finally got her hands dirty. And she came out after Becky Two Belts was giving her promo. She's walking up the ramp. Lacey Evans comes out. They look at each other face to face. Lacey Evans hits her with a mean women's right, like clocks Becky Lynch. They start fighting, and they start brawling. I mean, like there was a pretty decent brawl, and I think Lacey Evans was fighting in heels, which is very impressive. Now, I've been saying a lot of things about Lacey Evans before, but that's because I haven't really seen anything from Lacey Evans. My opinion can always change. I can become a Lacey Evans fan a month or two from now. Hell, maybe next week. But this was a good start for her. I feel like she had a very solid week on both Raw and SmackDown, Lacey Evans, because they had another segment on SmackDown. But as far as Monday Night Raw, Becky got it in. Becky and Lacey got it in. That was good. Dean Ambrose's last match. Well, it actually wasn't his last match. He was supposed to be going against Lashley. this ended up and not the match. The match didn't even start because Bobby Lashley was like, okay, Dean, when you're away, I'm going to take care of your wife for you. So, of course, Dean ain't going to have that. He snuffs Lashley. They get into it. Lio Rush ends up distracting Dean Ambrose on the top of the stage. Lashley hits a spear, spine busts him, slams it through the commentator's table, and that's technically the last image of Dean Ambrose on Raw television or on television. Let me just put it like that. Because he came out later in the night. Seth Rollins had called him out after the show went off the air, and him and Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose was in the ring. Dean Ambrose took the mic, thanked everybody, and they gave the Shield pose, and that was the last image of Dean Ambrose in WWE. But the last televised image was him being slammed through the commentator's table. What else happened on Raw? Mojo in the mirror. We need my man Mojo Rawley back on TV. Sami Zayn is back. Sami Zayn was over like hell. Everybody was into Sami Zayn. The Olay chants. Ole, 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 ole. He definitely was over. He did an open challenge. Finn Balor ends up coming out. Finn Balor was like, no, make this for the IC title. And match was solid. Now, I was kind of praying that they wasn't taking the strap off of Finn Balor this early because he just won it. Just the hot potato stuff with the belts? No. But they put Sami Zayn in a messed up predicament because he just came back after 10 months. And you're just going to have him lose because Finn Balor ended up retaining. So, like I said, he lose. Sami Zayn gets on the mic, trashes the whole crowd, calling them basically judgmental. But it was just funny as hell because it was just like he was mocking the crowd. He was doing the that type of laugh. And out of nowhere, I just started laughing. But yeah, so it looks like Sami Zayn's going to be a heel going forward. Elias had a segment basically just talking about how John Cena interrupted him. He was trying to do his performance, and then next thing you know, he starts spitting some bars, and he was saying the next man that interrupts me is a dead man. Immediately when he said dead man, the arena knew what it was. And next thing you know, you hear a gong. Undertaker comes out, beats the holy hell out of Elias, tombstones him, and Undertaker, you can tell that he's aging. He's getting up there. But in a weird way, he still looked good. His hairline is receding a lot now, but he did look good. He lost 25 pounds, and Undertaker's looking ripped, man. He's looking good. I guess he's going to set up his match with him and Elias at Saudi Arabia because the next Saudi Arabia event that's coming up for WWE is, I don't know what the name of it is. Undertaker is fighting on that card, so he's probably going to be fighting Elias. So we had Kofi Kingston and Seth Rollins, the winner takes all match. Now, of course, we just knew that this wasn't going to end with one person having both belts. But the biggest story was who was going to come out and interrupt the match. I was just saying, have them fight the majority of the match, go at least 15 to 20 minutes, have this be a good match, then an Undisputed Era come out. That was what I wanted to happen. But of course, WWE messes everything up. Because they have the bar, not even a team from Raw came out. A team from Smackdown comes out and interrupts a Raw main event. I hope when they do this shakeup next week that people stay on their brands because these people just coming on to different shows just because, bro, no. We need to make this brand split more serious again. This right here, what they're doing, no. When this brand split happens, it needs to be taken more seriously because you have random situations like the bar coming out and interrupting the main event. Like, why y'all out here? So not only does the bar interrupt the main event, Seth Rollins was like, okay, we could do this another time, Kofi, knowing damn well that they're not going to have this match anytime soon or ever. They're going to have a tag team match, player. So it turned into Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston versus the bar. Of course, the faces ended up winning. Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston wins. And that's how Raw goes off the air. This is probably the worst Raw after WrestleMania ever because there was nothing. I think between Raw and SmackDown, they have all their eggs in for the shakeup. They should have did the shakeup this week, in my opinion, because they had people from Raw and SmackDown coming on each other's shows. So that was it with Raw. So as far as SmackDown, they have the New Day celebration. You know, Kofi Kingston, you know, of course, him becoming WWE champion and bringing that title home. So the bar comes out once again. Like, we didn't have enough of the bar on Raw, so the bar comes out, calling Kofi Kingston B+, play all that crap, whatever. Then they issues a challenge for a 6-man tag match between themselves and Drew McIntyre, who's a Raw superstar at the moment. This would have made more sense next week when they have a shakeup. But they have randomly, Drew McIntyre comes out, and this 6-man is announced for later. What else happened? What else good happens? We had a segment with R-Truth and Carmella. Samoa Joe comes out. He chokes out R-Truth, throws him out the ring. He brags about the whole Rey Mysterio thing, him beating him up. Braun Strowman comes out, another Raw superstar coming to SmackDown. Why wouldn't you just do the shakeup this week? Because you have Raw superstars appearing on SmackDown. You have SmackDown superstars appearing on Raw for no reason. This would have all made sense next week because we have a superstar shakeup. How are these brands supposed to be taken seriously if you're just gonna have them roll up on each brand whenever they feel like it? Oh, hey, I'm a Raw superstar. I'm Braun Strowman. Let me just come on SmackDown this week. No, it makes more sense next week because we're gonna have a shakeup next week. But I ain't gonna hold you. So Braun Strowman gets in the ring with Samoa Joe. They brawl it out. But Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman for the U.S. title? Take my money for that. I'm all for that. I'm be all into that. So Samoa Joe ends up leaving and Braun stands tall. So Braun Strowman on SmackDown, like I wanted before, it might happen. The Iconics versus some jobbers. They beat up some jobbers that were supposed to be undefeated or whatever. But Paige is watching on. Paige here. She was watching on, and she watched the Iconics, you know, just beat them down. I think they put their titles on the line. And Paige said that next week she's bringing a team of her own. So who is this team? Is it Kairi Sane? Is it Io Shirai? Is Bianca Belair somehow in there? We shall see. But it's like Paige is going to be a manager going forward, and this might be interesting. What else happened? The Hardys versus them Thuggos. I'm Thuggos, man. I ain't going to do the whole thing over because my throat is like burning right now, though, because I've been talking forever. But this was my dream match. This is the match that should have happened at WrestleMania. And the thing that pissed me off was because I have no problem with the Usos dropping the titles to the Hardys. I feel like this match should have been done on a bigger stage, a little bit more build-up, and given a little bit more time. Because I felt like this match was a little bit short. It was a little short in my opinion. They could have gave it at least another 5 more minutes, a little bit more near falls. But the bigger story with this whole Uso and Hardy thing is, what I feel like they dropped the ball, is that WrestleMania was just here. There was no reason to have a fatal 4-way match with teams that didn't deserve that opportunity to begin with. They should have had the Hardys, the Usos, best of the past versus the best of the present and the future. Then if the Hardys won it, I was all for that because this is my 2 favorite tag teams of all time. So I win either way. I didn't care if the Usos lost the title to the Hardys. I'm not mad if they lost the title to the Hardys because it's the Hardys. But it's the simple fact there was no build up to this thing. And then you have the Usos go out there and they just lose the titles in simplistic fashion with no build up. Come on, bro. The only thing I can see out of this happen is that the Usos go to Raw after the shakeup, which I think needs to happen because the Usos have done everything that they can on SmackDown. They have had that tag team division on lock, like they usually say. Oh yeah, it's been on lock, you know? So I feel like the Usos is probably going to go to Raw. That's probably why they dropped the title to the Hardys. But yeah, that's about it with that. So what we have? So we have Sami Zayn, who came out to do a promo They sing his song, and he just says, yeah, the crowd isn't worth it, and he leaves. Becky 2 belts, like I said, she had another segment when she came out there. She talked about the whole WrestleMania thing. Lacey Evans, all that stuff. Says she's going to go through everybody. Lacey Evans comes out. She attacks Becky Lynch on stage. And that's pretty much it. So that continues their rivalry. Then you had the main event, which is The Bar and McIntyre versus The New Day. The New Day ends up winning with Kofi Kingston hitting the Trouble in Paradise on, I do believe it was Sheamus or Cesaro. On Sheamus. And that's it. That's your SmackDown after WrestleMania. In other words, WWE is building towards this shakeup. Now, what's going to happen during this shakeup? We don't know. But let's just hope that WWE really shake things up next week. Because this needs to be shaken up badly. We need some new storylines. We need some fresh faces. Now, they did tease a lot this week. But the only thing with this, the only problem with that was it wasn't the shakeup. And you have Raw people appearing on SmackDown for no reason. You have SmackDown people appearing on Raw for no reason. Is this supposed to tease certain people for the shakeup? But it doesn't make sense. You could have just saved this for next week, or you could have just had the shakeup this week when you had that raucous crowd in New York. You had this big raucous crowd in New York who was gonna be into everything that y'all was gonna give them during the shakeup. They could have just did it then. If they was gonna have people appearing from each brand on whatever show that they decided. You know? But the question is, what happens? Is this company really going to shake things up next week? What NXT superstars are going to get called up? What stars are going to go to SmackDown? What SmackDown stars are going to go to Raw? Is Pete Dunne going to come? We shall see. But let's just hope that the WWE really has something special for us as far as this shakeup. So, if you like this podcast, you listen to it on good old YouTube, hit it with a thumbs up. Y'all already know, show brother some love. Continue to share the podcast. If y'all want to send me any questions to talk about on the podcast, if y'all got any questions for me to address as far as what happened during the week of next week, let me know. Slide in my DMs, comment on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, hit me up on IG. Y'all already know, Wildcat J Troy, cat with a K instead of a C. Yeah, so if y'all listen to that, yeah, just send me whatever y'all want. So if y'all made it this far, I appreciate y'all for listening to this deep. If y'all just skimmed through it, I appreciate y'all too for just listening to me and just giving me your time. And let's just hope, like I said, let's just hope WWE brings something special next week so we have a lot to talk about. So until next time, thank you for listening. And your boy, the Wildcat, J Troy, is signing out.